My shoes off. I'm barefoot. Shoeless. Through my phone. Yep, just commented.
Okay.
Did the saw the link. You're live. All right. People on. Of course. Fans first. Let me get to it. Let me fix that while we're just exploring. All right. It is a wonderful, wonderful day. Got the fan going.
Oh, yeah, my fan on.
Yeah, I got the fan going here. It's actually feels like June. Holy cow. It's Northeast Ohio and it feels like June. Hey, thank you guys. Thank you for joining us. It is 9:00. It is a Friday night, and that means it's time for the Burning River Browns Talk. Me with my co-host, Sherry at Browns Fan Girl, and at Browns Fan Girl on X, at Budgie M on Instagram. There we go. Okay. And you can always find her doing, well, we're working on other shows and doing other things, but she's a part of the Fanatical Elves family and team. And we're happy to have her every week. I'm glad to have you here. Otherwise, the show would be boring if it was just me, just so you know. Yes. She's not a DEI hire. No. What's that?
I said, I bring the flair.
You bring the flair.
I bring the flair.
She brings the Jewish flair, folks. That's what she does. Oh, before I forget, a celebrity has a birthday today. Michael J. Fox is 63 years old today. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Happy birthday.
That's
Michael
wonderful.
J. Fox. I heard he was so excited he couldn't sit still for a minute.
Who doesn't love a little movement disorder humor right out the gate?
Of course. That's what we're here for. That's what I'm good for. Speaking of which, I heard that Elon Musk and Donald Trump have been talking over the phone.
Have they?
Yes. So I think things are going to get better. I think he's just like, hey, I think it's because, Donald's going to be naturally a Browns fan because he's already orange and all he has to do is put on brown. So he fits right in with all of us. So he'll be fine. So I don't know. I don't know if it had to do with football, if they were just like, not to get political. And it's not, it's pragmatic. Sometimes when you're in office and you're in a political position, you want to get things done a certain way, but you know what? There's things you have to do first. And it's not as easy as just flipping a switch and doing it. It's not like running a business. And Elon, I can understand where Elon's coming from and what he wants to do. But at the same time, Donald's like, hey, we got to get this done first, then we can get to that. So it's kind of like, it's a matter of process, but they're arguing for the same thing. Sure. It's just a matter of how they get there. So, folks, yeah, it is kind of funny. It is kind of
come on, you got to admit, it's been internet gold.
Oh God, everybody's talking about it. And I even commented. I commented on a colleague, Brianna Morello's Twitter X feed, I should say, because I said, look, if Donald Trump was on that Epstein list, you don't think that would have been leaked out by now? They tried to kill the guy, for God's sake. So anyway, it's just that's not even a chance. But there's also some other political news that we're going to talk about. We are going to go over some things here. We're going to go over the Brown Stadium news. I'm going to dispute some political points. I put in the comments a PDF, which is the economic impact from last year's Super Bowl in the city of New Orleans and what could be brought to Northeast Ohio with this enclosed stadium. So we could talk about that. And I'm talking about the fallacious arguments that people are making just about, well, what about schools? Or what about this? What about that?
Yeah,
we can get there. We'll get there. I could do it. Absolutely. Because what you're actually proving is my argument that government is most of the time useless.
Yeah, pretty much.
Especially Cleveland City government. They've been sitting on their butts for decades. And we have an owner with money investing in Cuyahoga County, investing in the Cleveland Browns, investing in the community. And people are too damn stupid to see the forest through the trees.
Right.
So yeah, if you don't want a bunch of Trader Joe's and cheesecake factories around the stadium, and you want a bunch of yuppies going to the game,
it's just the way of 21st century commerce in this country. I mean, everything is very the same no matter where you go. I know when I go back home to Florida, a lot of the stuff that I knew is no longer there, and there's like a Whole Foods, a Trader Joe's, a Sprouts, a this, a that, a
Nordstrom or
Fresh Thyme.
whatever.
Exactly. It's all the same, you know. So
Yeah.
what makes this region different? You know, I mean,
They'd
people,
rather see an empty lot with an old factory just
gross.
rusting away.
Yeah, and all the crackheads and junkies are going to be hanging out there and dumping bodies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So why not get rid of that? Get rid of the blight. Get rid of it. Make this
Well,
place
let's do
a
it.
region people want to come to and spend
Yeah.
their money.
Also, on a side note, we talked a little bit about this. I am wearing my Ohio State gear because this is Judgment Day for Michigan today and tomorrow. They're dealing with the Rules Committee of the NCAA in Indianapolis. Jim Harbaugh did not show up, but Connor Stallions was there. So that's all I know. And really, it's not really a hearing. It's just basically the NCAA telling the Rules Committee what they found.
Sure.
That's all it was. It's not even cross-examination or nothing. Said, okay, and this is what they didn't do to cooperate. So it's just kind of funny. But we can get into that a little bit. But I also definitely want to go over, first and foremost, I have an interview that I recorded earlier this week with a colleague from, hold on a second, I'm going to let you know who it's from. It's from the, I'm going to make sure this is loading. Yeah, of course I'm going to have an ad on here. No.
Of course.
Oh yeah, it's another. There's two. What is this? Oh,
What's hissing at you? Something hissing at you over there?
No. There. All right, here we go. It is the Jeff Hartman from the Steel Curtain Network. We talk quarterbacks and what we can expect from Kenny Pickett and other things like that. So let me go ahead and share this screen. And it is coming from there we go, share screen. And I'm also going to share the PDF from the New Orleans thing. Okay, let me know if you see it.
I see you. And yep, I see. Oh, he got his terrible towel up. Did you ask him his opinion on Giant Eagle?
No, I did not.
Oh my
Here we
God.
go. Here we go. Let me know if you can hear it. All right. Hey, thank you for joining us here. This is the Burning River Browns Talk. This is a taped interview for the live show. I have a special guest, Mr. Jeff Hartman from the Steel Curtain Network. Is that correct?
That is correct. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, we're on here to talk quarterbacks, people. Yes, Browns, Steelers fans talking quarterbacks because in the AFC North, the Ravens have their quarterback set at Lamar Jackson. Bengals have Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
The Browns have a question mark, and so do the Steelers. So we want to try to see what we can figure out today. So we can talk. We can talk OTAs. Let me say the caveat. I love it how everybody is all up in arms about how good they look in shorts and helmets. Before I get into that, the little caveat: this was taped Wednesday at 1:00.
Sure, it was before the news broke last night, and it was funny because the in-laws are huge Steelers fans and have been.
All right,
so it's going to be fun. Every get-together from now on, I'm like, you can't say shit about the Browns. Ain't nothing can come out of your mouth now about any sort of slander about any of our quarterbacks because that's been a sore subject.
Sure it is. Here we go. So it's just OTAs, guys. Relax. First and foremost, I guess my understanding, just so we can relax a little bit, Browns fans, TJ Watt is also absent from Pittsburgh's OTAs, correct?
Yeah, and last that I checked, and also so is DK Metcalf, the prize trade acquisition this offseason. So he was DK Metcalf was at every single phase 1 and phase 2 of OTAs. Phase 3, he's been absent the first week and a half, I guess, since we're recording this. So I don't know. Like to me, it's voluntary unless they have a workout clause in their contract. Other than that, are we going to look back, whether it's Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, and say in week 4, week 5, if they miss a tackle, miss a sack, and say, if they would have been there for OTAs, I bet they would have made that. Someone might. I'm not going to do the revisionist history and all that stuff. That's just
I think both are going to have their productive defensive years like they normally do. So I'm not worried about it. No. Question is, because I mean, if you've read my articles, you see that I've covered the Buckeyes throughout last year. I'm covering him again this year. And one of the guys I talked about going into the draft was Will Howard, and I liked him for the Browns. Turns out the Browns didn't pick him, but the Steelers took him in the 6th round. What are you seeing from him?
From what we're gathering out of OTAs, from what the reporters are allowed to say, is it's up and down. I mean, he's a rookie. You're going against grown men, and that's a big difference. Yes, you played at one of the elite schools in college football. You won a national title. That's all great, and that does help you at the next level. But that's not the next level. So when you're throwing passes on a 7-on-7 drill with Minkah Fitzpatrick in the back end compared to who you were facing in college, it's a little bit different. The closing speed's a little bit different. Those guys can get acclimated much faster in terms of what you're trying to do. They see your little tendencies where you stare down your receiver. And so he's had some rough moments in OTAs.
Okay.
But that's part of the process. I wouldn't want to hear, oh, yeah, Will Howard looks fantastic. He's ready to go, because he's not ready to go.
No.
Very few are when they enter the National Football League. And so it's been a little up and down, but I think he'll be okay.
Okay. And I saw your article too, and I appreciate you writing this, was like for the Steelers to move on from the Aaron Rodgers drama. Is there any news on that? Because I've been hearing about this forever.
Yeah, this is
no news. The Steelers, all I know is that our source that
This
we
was
have
Wednesday.
from the Steelers
He sounds
organization
like
has
such
said
a
the Steelers are going to
yinzer.
be patient, and they're going to be willing to.
Just
They
listen to
have
us.
an insurance policy. They have a planning if he chooses to retire or to not play. But in the meantime, they're willing to wait. And so a lot of Steeler fans hate that. They want them to put that line in the sand and say, look, here's the deadline. And the Steelers aren't doing that. And that's on them. That's not on me. So that's kind of what they're thinking right now.
That doesn't seem like the Steelers to me. Like they wouldn't. I don't think they'd be like. I think if you're here or you're not. If you're not here, we're not going to worry about you. That's kind of like normally the way the Steelers used to operate that I remember.
I don't think this is him holding the Steelers hostage situation. A lot of people are trying to drum up that narrative amongst the media and the fan base. I think that Aaron Rodgers, and everything that I've been told, is that he's been unbelievably upfront with Pittsburgh. Since the moment they even talked about a courtship and they started talking, he said, listen, here's what's happening in my life right now. I'm not going to be ready to make a decision anytime soon. I just want y'all to understand that. And the Steelers said, hey, we get it, man. You got to do your thing. They go out and they get Mason Rudolph.
Right.
A lot of fans don't think that he's a viable option. I think he's a
familiar
very
face.
he's a very viable option, especially if the Steelers are like, you know what? It's a bridge here anyways. If we win 8 games, we're going to get a higher slotted draft pick. We're going to be trading up in 2026 in Pittsburgh to get a quarterback anyways. So I don't know. Like for me, they want to wait on Aaron Rodgers, sure. If not, they roll with Mason and Will Howard's the backup, sure, let's do it. I just want it to be over, but the Steelers are being patient, I guess.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I heard the term you used, bridge year.
Yeah.
There's a ping, which most people was the rebuilding year.
Yes.
I think Tomlin has yet to have more losses than wins in a season, and the Steelers have yet to have that since Roethlisberger's rookie, or no, even before his rookie.
2003 was the last losing season. They finished 6-10 and gave them the 11th overall pick in 2004, which they took Ben Roethlisberger.
Yep. Yeah, we passed on him. We had the 7th pick, and Butch Davis.
Kellen Winslow Jr.
Yes, he's in prison now. He's in prison. Yeah, go there. Well, just to be honest with you, the story was that Butch Davis showed up there with receivers, and he Roethlisberger threw the ball so hard it broke Andre Davis's finger catching it. And the players were telling him, you better draft this guy. And Butch Davis didn't want to draft a guy from the MAC. I swear to God, that's the story I heard.
That's the first time I've ever heard that. That's interesting.
Yeah,
hey, that's
yeah.
fine. We're
that's
happy
all
with
it
the
worked out for
decision
you
made.
guys. Yeah. Well, 2 years later, he was done. So
yeah,
it's just like usually that happens. Interestingly enough, we took one of your familiar faces, which was your former first round pick, which was Kenny Pickett. Be honest with you, I remember he was kind of you know, I mean, his stats weren't great, but he wasn't awful either. I mean, we saw worst quarterback play that we've ever seen last year. So I think anything above that would be an upgrade. What could Browns fans expect if he does start week 1?
All right. So I'm going to try and
He's very
keep
diplomatic.
a level head here because a lot of Steeler fans were really miffed by how things ended with Pickett, where
I wrote about that. Wrote about that. Yeah.
He wanted out. He didn't like them bringing in Russell
think I'm
Wilson
breathing in the
and them
microphone.
guaranteeing him a starting role. And so he said, I want out. So they trade him to Philadelphia. And a lot of Steeler fans saw that he's a
Might be the
quitter.
fan.
He quit on the team. He doesn't have the backbone to stick through tough times. Whatever. I don't know what happened behind closed doors. I'm only going to speak about what he did on the field. And I will say that if Kenny Pickett has protection, he can deliver the passes that are necessary to move the ball. He is a guy that can win football games. He's won football games in the National Football League before. So Steeler fans that want to think, well, just because they're pissed off at how it ended, that he wasn't successful in his time. Right. Yeah, he was. Sometimes the injury thing comes up and hurts him. I remember he was really starting. Matt Canada had just been fired. He had a very productive game against Cincinnati. He was moving the ball well against Arizona. Then he gets that high ankle sprain, which requires a surgery, and it just never got back to where he was going to be. That was in 2003. He was healthy enough to play, and they went with Mason Rudolph into the postseason. It was weird. The Kenny Pickett era in Pittsburgh was odd. It was odd how it started, how he was injected into the lineup in 2022 in Week 4 against the New York Jets when Mitch Trubisky could do nothing right, and he almost gets them back into to win that football game at Acrisure Stadium. Instead, they lose. It was just really, really strange. But Kenny Pickett is capable. He just needs the perfect system around him. He needs the blockers up front to keep him clean. He doesn't do well with people in his face. Not a lot of quarterbacks do, mind you.
Right.
And he needs good skill position players. So Jerry Jeudy's going to be his best friend. David Njoku, I would imagine, should be a really big part of his offensive prowess. I think that Kenny Pickett is what he was drafted, and that is the best quarterback in a really bad class. And I think ultimately that 2022 draft class in terms of quarterback is going to go down as one of the worst in modern football history.
Right.
He was the only quarterback taken in the first round. And I think that what it equates to is a mediocre quarterback at best in the National Football League. But could he be a bridge to the next guy? Yes. Can he win you games? Yes. He's proven that he can.
Yeah. I think, too, this is just what Browns fans are thinking. I probably think Steeler fans are thinking the same thing. Next year's quarterback class is supposed to be excellent.
Yes.
Including the Penn State quarterback, Drew Aller, which he's from Northeast Ohio. He's from Medina. I'm just saying the Browns have 2 picks next year. Oh, isn't it funny how they do that?
Weird. We need to watch this guy. Oh, thank you.
Jacksonville's pick, which will probably be a top 10 pick because they still have holes. And I think it's safe to say I'm being fair here. We're going to pick in the top 15.
You're tripping, candy corn guy.
I'm just being honest.
Off the LSD.
We don't have anything really to go on that. Now Pittsburgh still has 1 pick, but they don't trade draft picks. That's something they only did it to get.
It's rare.
It's rare.
They've done it before, but it's rare, and they're going to have a potential Pittsburgh that is 12 picks in this upcoming draft. That's where they are right now. If you add in expected compensatory selections,
wow, that's a lot. We had 11 going into this when we walked away with 7, and we moved up to get Shedeur Sanders, which the big surprise for me because I went to the draft watch party at Huntington Bank Field. Journey played. I don't know if you knew that we had a Journey concert for Cleveland ticket holders, and it was a perfect weather for it. It was like a summer night. It was great, and I was on my way back, and I was listening to the draft on my iPhone, and when Pittsburgh came up to pick, they took the tackle from Oregon, which surprised me in the first round because I think a lot of people had them slotted to take Shedeur Sanders. What did you hear that scared them away? Because we ended up trading up in the 5th round to get him. I'm hearing all kinds of crazy stories. And Deion came out and said it wasn't true. So I don't know what you heard. What did Pittsburgh didn't like?
I think that Pittsburgh does use a lot of smoke screens. They do things to make people think they're going to do one thing when they do the other. We're going to zig while you zag. Sometimes they outthink themselves too. So let's not pretend like they're on this other plane of the thought process and the way that they maneuver. Yeah. No, I don't think that's it at all. I think they brought Shedeur Sanders in to right before the draft process had really kind of concluded, and then they're getting ready for the actual selection. And they liked him enough, but I don't think they liked him more than they did Derek Harmon. Because what you have to understand is so Omar Khan, the new GM, took over for Kevin Colbert. Kevin Colbert had the 2022 draft class, then Omar Khan takes over after that. And the guy that really is helping Omar Khan build this team in a different way is Andy Weidel. Now, Andy Weidel also interviewed for the Steelers GM position. He did not get it, but they hired him as an assistant GM. He comes from Baltimore to Philadelphia. What do those 2 teams have in common in terms of Baltimore and Philly? They all build through the trenches. They need to have a dominant trench. We're talking offensive and defensive line. And so
Mhm.
you look at what the Steelers have done since that duo became in the front office. They have invested a ridiculous amount of capital in the offensive and defensive lines now.
Yeah.
His first pick was Broderick Jones, tackle out of Georgia. You talk about last year, they go with Troy Fautanu in the first round. They go Zach Frazier center in the second round. They take Mason McCormick guard in the fourth round. This year, they double dip a defensive tackle. Anyone that follows the Pittsburgh Steelers that really pays attention to the breadcrumbs knew they weren't taking a quarterback in the first round. Any of them.
Okay.
It doesn't matter who was available. Maybe Jackson Dart, but I still think they would have passed on him too, because they know that there's bigger issues. And I do also think that they were scared to death of another Kenny Pickett situation.
Really, that's interesting. I think we're gun shy in drafting quarterbacks ourselves, just so you know. And I was surprised. No, we haven't been successful at it. I was surprised that we took Dylan Gabriel in the third round when we did. I was like, oh, I kind of joked about it then because we're doing a live show and covering the draft. I said, yeah, they'll take the dwarf from Oregon or something. I made a joke about it. I mean, he's 5'11". I'm kidding. I was just joking. I said, they'll take Dylan Gabriel. And they did. And I was like, oh, okay. But when I looked at his stats, I was impressed with what he was able to do. And I think Stefanski likes his ability to process and read. But then when Shedeur became available in the fifth round, I have no problem with taking that. A lot of teams passed on him, not just Pittsburgh and not just Cleveland. Did you hear about that podcast that Deion Sanders did? Because I guess there were stories when he went to the Giants and he wasn't prepared for the interview. Have you heard that stuff about Shedeur Sanders?
I did hear some of the New York Giants stuff. I think you're referring to hey, we're going to send you an install, and it's kind of like homework. And then when you come in, you got to be able to ace the test, right? And so he's taking the test, and they throw him a curveball to see if he can adjust on the fly, and he didn't handle it well. He said that they were screwing him over and that all that type of stuff. And he kind of got defensive. Like, well, wait a second. I learned the stuff that you sent me. And then they're like, look, we do this with everyone. Like Brian Daboll wants to push you to see, like, can you adjust? Because quarterback is adjusting on the fly. It's adjusting to the defense. And according to what I heard, he did not handle that part of the assignment well. And then that kind of made its way around league circles. And then eventually, I don't know about you, Lou, but I would say that after you get out of the third round, you're talking about backup quarterback territory.
Yep.
And so who wants a backup quarterback that's going to bring with him all that attention? Not many teams. And so the Browns took him in the fifth round. That's great value. That's tremendous value. Pittsburgh got Will Howard in the sixth. Tremendous value.
I had him as at least a third round pick. I did.
Right, exactly. So I think that you get to the certain point in the draft process, day 3, and you're thinking, do we really want to deal with that? Do we really want that guy to come here and have all the questions all the time? A lot of teams are like that. We don't need that. So it's a difficult situation.
Yeah, there's a lot of that attention and the drama because we already went through that with Watson. And he tore his Achilles twice in the last 12 months, so he's pretty much done. People don't know he's done. So people think that he isn't. Just one last question then. The Steelers play in Ireland, is that correct? On week 4? Correct. They play the Vikings, and we play the Vikings week 5 in London. Yeah. No, do the Steelers have a week 5 bye?
They do.
Okay. Yes. We come back on week 6 and we play you guys. You're coming off a bye. I think we're in Pittsburgh.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you say that because I was always under the assumption when they started to do more international series games, there was this rumor circulating, and come to find out, according to Art Rooney, the second team president of the Steelers, it's not factual, that the NFL would give teams the option of whether they want their bye post international game or if they want it later. And Art Rooney said when the schedule was released with Steelers.com in an interview, he said, we were not given that opportunity. We had a bye in week 5. He said, it works out. You're coming back from the international series. C'est la vie, as the French would say, and you got to play in week 6 and then all the way through till week 18. So it's going to be tough, but at the same time, we'll see if the Steelers can handle overseas games. The last time they played was 2013. They played the Vikings. That was in London. They lost. That was an 0-4 start to that year. I don't want to bring that up. So,
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm nowhere. I'm in no position. Just so you know, I will say this. We come back and we play in the Steelers. We don't have our bye until week 9. So I heard that rumor that they offered that to the Browns too, but Browns decided to have the more in the middle of the year, which is more of an ideal time to have a bye week is more in the middle of the year, people would think, but you don't know how it's going to shake out.
Right.
And the other thing I don't like to do is play the schedule game in May or June because there's so much. There's always teams that do better than people expect. There's always teams that do worse, and it's hard to say. But I think I just kind of looking at I could see this team winning anywhere between 7 and 9 games. Put them right in the middle of the NFL. That's about there. Now that's about. I'm just kind of just looking at the roster now. A lot can change by October and November, and a lot can change too. So I'm just last question that I had was: are the Steelers looking at next year's draft for their next guy, and this is considered like a bridge year between that? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, Steeler fans hate the term rebuilding. They'll say retool. They'll say all these
reload.
Yes, I say bridge year because I'm a Pittsburgh fan. Like I like the Pirates, Penguins, and Steelers. And so if you go back to 2017, the Pittsburgh Pirates were actually good at the time.
Yeah.
And they had just come off a playoff appearance and they lost. And their general manager at the time, Neil Huntington, came out publicly and said, this is a bridge year for us. Could you imagine a GM of any professional sports team saying publicly to the fan base, essentially, we're not really going to try this year, but we're going to try really hard next year. So stick with us. Like he said that and he called it a bridge year. So I hated it. I hated it at the time. I still do, but this does have the feel of a bridge year for the Steelers. They do have a good defense.
They'll never say it. They always have a good defense.
No. They'll never say it. And Mike Tomlin will always coach his team up to win. And that's how
another
he wins 8 or 9 games. 8
This Father's Day, get up to 70% off the Baldy Pro by Groomy. This head and face shaver boasts a 10,000 RPM mode.
Games when it was a 16-game schedule. Now he'll win 9 games with a 17-game schedule. And everyone loves to tout about Mike Tomlin's non-losing streak and stuff. And that's neither here nor there. But the thing about the Steelers is you talk about predictions. Like, who's their quarterback? Like you could talk about it from, is it going to be Pickett? Is it going to be Flacco, or is it going to be the rookies? We're wondering, is it going to be a guy that's not even on the roster right now, and Aaron Rodgers? Who the heck knows what's going to happen with the Steelers? But I think that their defense this year could actually be better than what it was last year. And I think that the offense is just going to be a matter of if they could somehow, even if it's Mason Rudolph, if they could somehow find a spark, I could see them winning 9 games. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy and kind of looks more like what the expectations for him were going into 2023 prior to his Achilles rupture, they could maybe sneak out 10, 11 if the ball bounces their way. Who knows? But this team is not a Super Bowl team, in my opinion. It's just not.
No,
and
neither is the Browns. No.
Right. And so the next year, it's the draft is in Pittsburgh.
Oh, it is.
Go get your guy when you have all those Pittsburgh fans there.
I should make the road trip. We should go there. I'll go on with you guys. Yeah,
they're going to go. They're going to go to Pittsburgh. They have all these draft picks. They basically played this offseason for 2026. And they openly stated, we let free agents walk. We signed players that weren't a part of the compensatory formula because we are getting as many picks as we can in 2026 because we are going to trade into the top 10 and we're going to get a quarterback. And so that's exactly what they've done. And so they could have upwards of 3 third-round picks, 2 or 3 fourth-round picks based on the compensatory formula and how things play out this year. Mm-hmm. It's going to be exciting. Steeler fans should be excited. But, 2025 just kind of feels like a wet blanket right now.
Yeah, it does. It's just the way it is, I guess, because I could see that. No, that's pretty much it where I was at. But I just wanted you to picture this: Week 6, Acrisure Stadium. Cleveland comes into Pittsburgh, and the starting quarterbacks are Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers. So,
well, there's a lot of Steeler fans that are like, "Is Kenny Pickett going to be the guy? And what's that reception going to look like?"
That'll be made for TV. That'd be a national game. I like the idea of the geriatric bowl.
Like for sure. The AARP bowl.
Well, I have a friend that was a wrestling promoter in Pittsburgh, and he's a Steelers fan, a long time friend. I've been friends with him for 30 years. And when I got the news about Pickett, I texted him, and he says, "Hey, he thinks he has a chance to succeed, and he thought he got a raw deal here in Pittsburgh." Those are his words, not mine. So I just figured to let the Browns fans know what they might have. There's also rumors swirling here that Pickett might be traded by training camp, which doesn't make sense to me. Why would you bring a guy in to trade him by training camp? I don't see that.
And who are you going to trade him to?
Exactly.
Who are the quarter? Unless there's an injury, I think that's all.
Yeah, I'd say maybe in the preseason, if an injury comes up, he could. maybe, and then
Yeah.
we get a nice offer. But otherwise, no. Something always happens in the preseason. That always happens.
You're going to
But cool.
hear Kirk Cousins' name come up if injuries happen as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And also, I just want to say the Iowa running back was a 3rd round pick.
Third round pick, Caleb Johnson. Yeah.
I liked him. I like who the Browns took too, because I was an Ohio State guy, and Quincy Judkins and Dylan Sampson being available in the 4th round. I was shocked he was there. But Caleb Johnson was a good pick. He's a Big Ten running back, good guy. So I mean, you guys got some good young talent along with DK Metcalf. So it's going to be an interesting year. Like I said, things happen in the NFL that surprises happen. You never know. You really never know. But all right, well, Jeff, man, I appreciate it. Is there where could people find your content, just so they know?
Yeah. Not that Browns fans really want to listen to Steelers talk, but if you
I always do. I like to know what the division's doing. I like to know what our division's doing.
You can go to the Steel Curtain Network anywhere you get your podcasts, and you'll find our podcast platform, or you can go to steelcurtainnetwork.com, which is our website. It's all Steelers all day, every day. And you can check us out there. It's a part of Fans First Sports Network. But yeah, there it is. Lou, thanks for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Hey, no, appreciate it. Thank you guys. And hey, thank you for joining us. And hey, anytime I'll come on to your network. I might even make the trip for the draft. I might even do it. Just come on. I'll come on with you and Brian Davis. Absolutely. All right, guys. Sounds good. All right. Take care. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Let me get. There we go. Now there's only one Lou.
You were psyching people out, man, with double Lou goodness on the screen there.
I can imagine.
It would have been, would have been really funny if you wore the same thing.
That would have really tripped people out. That would have been people would have thought we were in the time warp.
Yes,
it's astounding. Time is fleeting.
Yeah, you could have brought up that the Penguins got a brand new head coach after they let their long time.
I don't know that stuff. I don't really cover hockey. Plus, I don't really cover other.
Dan Muse, and he would have lit up like a firecracker.
Oh, check it out! We got announcer guy Drew being a wet blanket on the Steelers. Jeez, which is fine. Well, no, he thinks Rodgers is washed. And it's very possible. Thank you.
And DK Metcalf last season was kind of poo-poo doo-doo.
Glad I found another Steelers fan to troll. Jesus. Okay, go ahead. What were we going to say?
I had DK Metcalf on my fantasy team, and he was poopy. So I don't know what they're going to get out of him. He was not so good.
Well, he had Geno Smith at quarterback. Now he's going to have Aaron Rodgers.
So he's going to be extra doo-doo.
It's funny watching people on Twitter argue with each other about 2 over 40-year-old quarterbacks. I'm like, if people were saying, who do I think is going to start? And I was saying last week, I still think Pickett. I think Kenny Pickett.
Last week, I think I'm sticking with Steady Eddie Flacco.
Steady Eddie Flacco? Okay.
Steady Eddie Flacco. Mm-hmm.
Should I?
Nathan Segura called him statuesque in the way he's throwing the ball. And I thought that was a lovely way to put it. And he said, not just because he wasn't mobile, it's just because he looked like art, the way he was moving the ball through. He said, he kept saying layers, but that was for Shadur Sanders. But he was moving the ball excellently. Like he hasn't lost a beat. So we'll see. There's still a ton of time.
Oh, there's so much time between now. We got the preseason's going to be really fun.
Yes.
To watch these quarterbacks play. This is going to be very fun. So I'm looking forward to it. So that was that. I mean, big news. Nice. Yeah. Thank you for the interview. Thank you for the compliment there, Mr. Lawrence. Yes, he found another Steelers fan to troll. That's good stuff. So just kind of real quick, thank you all. But let's take a moment here. So we're a half hour in. We're gonna go probably a little bit long today because I got a lot of shit to say. But let's go ahead and pause for a break right now. All right. How about them sponsors?
Yay.
Yeah. All right. So also, speaking of sponsors, the link is in the details of the show. Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. Click on the link, order up some coffee. Tell them Lou sent you. All right? That's what we do on the Sunday Stoop. By hey, tell them Lou sent you. Hey, how you doing? All right. Hey. Lou and the Jew every Friday night.
We sent you.
We sent you. Lou
with
and the
the
Jew.
vodka, there has to be a Danish, maybe. There's something for dessert with your coffee.
Do you want to tell people we were at Top Dog Tailgate last Saturday? We had she had the opportunity. She got to meet my family. Where she got to see the house where I grew up because it was on the west side. We stopped at my
okay. I'm like, I already knew your parents.
Yes,
we have to clarify.
My brother and my
not
parents.
Just your. I met your parents.
You met my wife and my daughters before. Yeah, many times.
Good friends. But yes, that was incredible. I had so much fun. I'd hang out with your parents all day, every day.
Yeah. My brother were hanging out. They didn't understand where we came from. It was like, yeah, it was a picnic
Yeah.
type event. That was a cookout. I was
Mhm.
hanging out with other Cleveland. And the interesting part about that, people actually came up to me and they talked about the show and they said, "Hey, I watch your show." I'm like, "Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. And I
Sure.
appreciate you
That's
guys coming
pretty
on.
cool.
It's great. Yeah, I like to hear that. I like to hear that. Thank you. Anytime you see me at a game, you see me at a tailgate event, you can say, come up to me and say hi. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
Maybe depends on my mood.
Yeah. Don't bother the Jew. You know, she might be in a mood. Speaking of people in moods, this is a good segue here. Can you believe the mood of people when it comes to the new stadium?
Of course come on, I'm an expert in that mood.
Yeah. So what happened was, okay, let's go back to April. I wrote about this back in April. The House approved the $600 million bond for the Browns to borrow from the state, Ohio State House, from state taxpayer funds to fund the Dome Stadium project. The entire complex, the entire project's $3.6 billion. 2.4 is already privately invested and funded. That leaves 1.2. 600 million from the state, do the math, 300 from the county, and 300 from the city of Brook Park. The county is kind of being stingy about it. The Browns said, "Fine, we'll pay it. Go away. Go take a hike."
Sure.
The city of Brook Park's rolling out the red carpet. They're fine.
Whoa. All they see is dollar bills.
Yeah. So what the Senate's funding plan was, well, Governor DeWine had his with just increasing the state gambling tax from 20% to 40% to fund all stadiums at all. Because I think the state's looking at not just Cleveland or Cuyahoga County, they're looking at the future of the whole state. So the Cincinnati is going to need one, and they're looking at other minor league ballparks and other upgrades and everything else. So what's happening right now is the Senate came up with their idea, which was to put aside $1.7 billion for teams presenting a plan to the state to have the money borrowed where they could pay it back with the revenue from this to upgrade their stadiums. Nothing like this was available in 1995 to Art Modell. Just so you know, this wasn't even thought of. Actually, the governor of Ohio was George Voinovich at the time and told Modell, go ahead and move the team because that's the only thing he could do because it was a bureaucratic mess. That happened. So those are three plans. Right now it goes into a reconciliation process to get a final bill sent by June 30th to the governor's desk to sign into law. Just like being a bill on Capitol Hill. There was the School of Rock. That was in my article too.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on. So people are complaining, first and foremost, well, why don't we have money for schools? We do have money for schools.
Those are levies. Those are different. You vote on those.
The school levies are voted through the city and school districts. If you want money for schools, vote for a school levy. You want schools to get better, vote for school board people that you agree with. Go to school board meetings. If you have a child in school, be involved. Help them with their homework, work with them. You could teach your child a lot more about how the real world works, going to a grocery store and explaining how things work to them.
Yes.
Versus taking them to a museum.
Budgeting, for sure.
There's so much that money doesn't grow on trees. No, it doesn't. But you know what? You got to budget it. You got to be careful. 1, 2. Do you talk to your kid's teacher? Do you know your kid's teacher's name? Do you understand? I mean, are you working with your kid? I mean, are you involved in the PTA? I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do to get your schools better. No, I post on Twitter and complain because of sports stadiums. First off, you want to talk about teachers getting paid more? That's fine too. But you get millions of people to tune in to watch somebody teach an algebra class on TV, all the money they want. Otherwise, these are special skilled people that people will pay money to come and watch and play. So that's what it was. Here is this. I'm just a bill.
Hi, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Thanks. I like that. And what's this one? Not in favor of this bill. Is basically allows Dolan Infinity to pay back the loan. $600 million is a lot of money. Blah blah blah. Okay, that's fine. I'm not telling you to agree with me. I'm just explaining what's going on and how the fallacy of the argument. Also, if you listen to Daryl Ryder interview Chris Hurst from the City Council of Cleveland, Chris Ronan,
that was fun.
county executive. They don't have.
He didn't answer really. They kind of like hand wave everything,
Just do this. Just wait for us to come up with something. Yeah, okay.
And then they're like, "We're disappointed." Blah 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 blah. It's just a bunch of.
The one takeaway you get from that, though, is the city of Cleveland doesn't have the room, the land, or the money to do this. They don't.
Because to take down that old stadium, that in its own right is how long would that take? Where would they play in the interim, It doesn't make any sense.
This has been going on for decades. And how we got here, and you want to complain about losing football. In 1989, the sin tax was put up on a ballot in May of 1989 for an increase on beer, alcohol and cigarettes in the Cuyahoga County.
You can't do that to Browns fans. That's punishment on top of punishment.
That's what they did. That's what they did for it because it passed by a 51 to 49% margin.
Wow, razor margin.
Razor margin. The Major League Baseball commissioner came to Cleveland and told them, if you do not build a new ballpark for the Cleveland Indians, they will be relocated.
Oh, wow.
He flat out said that. I was 16 years old. I'll never forget it. People voted it in. It passed. In 1994, the gates opened for then called Jacobs Field, today Progressive Field. That was 31 years ago.
Okay.
And people were bitching and complaining because the team sucked for 35 years in Cleveland when we voted for that. The Indians were god-awful. At least the Browns the last 2 years made the playoffs and even have a playoff win. The Indians didn't even come close to sniffing the postseason for 35 years. And I'm not kidding. And then they win a pennant in 95. So, and they're within a whisker of winning 2 World Series in 97 and 2016. So I'm just telling you guys, there's a lot to it. There's a lot more to it. So how did the Browns get to this point? Well, Art Modell was getting revenue, okay, up until 1993 when the Indians concessions, because they were tenants in that stadium, the Indians moved to Jacobs Field. Art Modell lost that. They didn't build anything for him. They built a new building for the Indians. They built a new building for the Cavaliers. They left him on the lurch. They didn't do anything for it. He could have told that city, you do something for me or else I'm leaving too. He never did that. And he tried to leave in the middle of the season and announce it to sabotage the syntax. Yes, that's true. He was culpable for what happened, but so is the city of Cleveland, because for decades they didn't do anything about that. That stadium was 60 years old. It was a dump. So what happens? He pulls the move off. We get this big PR. We piss and moan, and we send letters and faxes. This was before the internet. You didn't really have emails or stuff. We bombarded the league with calls, letters, faxes. The league set us right. They intervened. We were able to keep the name of the team, the history, and the colors. Art Modell was able to move. That's the beginning of the Baltimore Ravens. He started up the Ravens, started up a whole new history, everything. We kept it, but we were on pause for 3 years.
Wow.
And we were guaranteed either a relocated team or an expansion team. We were given the expansion team in September of 98. We had to field a team in 10 months. We had to tear down and rebuild the stadium in 2.5 years.
We saw what we got. We see what the result.
We got a crappy team, and we got a crappier stadium. That stadium was out of date when it opened the gates in 1999, and it was built on the original foundation.
Okay, right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all this is happening because of completely inept leadership by the city council, by the Cleveland City. Totally, it's terrible. So that's what got us here. We were given the death penalty. We fought and scratched to keep a team and win, and look what we won. We got this. Now we have a chance. We have a chance at something better. Not only a better team, but a better building. We have an owner with money willing to spend money on a practice facility. They just broke ground on the practice facility on Wednesday.
Nice. That was really nice.
He's spending money. He spends more money than any owner on the roster. Over almost $2.5 billion is going to be spent on this. I mean, my God, people. You want to argue his decisions aren't good. That's fine. Okay, yes. But to just throw shit at something that haven't even begun to wrap your head around is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And when Roger Goodell met with Ohio lawmakers, the first thing Ohio lawmakers said to him, they asked him, "Hey, are we going to get a Super Bowl in Ohio?" It's just, it's yet to happen. Well, he said the stadium would be sufficient.
The requirements would be fulfilled.
But you need more hotels. Well, what do you think is being built around that thing?
Right. So did they take in consideration the hotels that are downtown? Because
yes.
I feel like that would. Okay, so did they say how many like beds they're short of?
I don't know about that number. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Yeah.
Because I feel that that Hilton is a beast.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, I do remember back then with announcer guy Drew that when Jacobs Field opened up, I talked about this with other Indians fans. The crowd changed. It was much more yuppie-ish, and they thought the Indians started playing in 1995. You know, it was just. I know what you mean. Yeah, but I remember back in the 80s, like if there was a good team that came to town, they drew crowds, and the opening day always drew crowds. Yeah, always did. And then you got he hates the Ravens. All right, he loves Haslam. Okay, that's good. We got a Haslam lover. Sure. I'm not saying I'm just going to defend the guy, but I'm also going to say that, hey, you know, you can't say he's being cheap. You can't say he's being stingy. You can't say he doesn't want to win. You could say he doesn't make good decisions. Okay, okay. That's right. You say he hasn't been winning enough. Okay, that's fine. You're free to do that. But to completely shit on the guy for not trying, you can't say that. And you say it's too corporate. You don't want to. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to go to the stadium. You don't have to go to these games.
You to go, yeah.
If it's too expensive, yeah. Oh, there's other things that weren't true at all. What they were saying, it was going to cost $150 to park downtown. And then the red line wouldn't be able to make it to the stadium, so it's going to force you to drive there. That's not true. Daryl even disputed that. Daryl Ryder.
Yeah.
That's not true. They're talking about economic impact. Okay.
Positive, 100% positive. I mean, and I've said this to my friends before, there's so many regions up here in Cuyahoga County that can't bring in revenue. For instance, places like East Cleveland, parts of, like Buckeye Shaker neighborhoods that are fairly destitute. So having this pad the county, I mean, it's nothing but good.
Yeah.
Nothing but good.
Absolutely. That's what I think.
I mean, like the crowd it brings in or not, whatever happens, I mean, if I get priced out, so be it. But if I could, I'm not going to piss, whine, moan, and complain about it,
10 cent beer, 10 cent beer night around week 10. Yeah, that'll work.
Can you imagine the riots?
50 cent bleachers. Wow. No. I don't think they were 50 cents. 50 cents. Nah. How old are you, man? Jesus. Let me just do this because I got a document here about the economic impact of this last year's Super Bowl in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do how many times has New Orleans hosted the Super Bowl? Let me do a quick Google search while you talk. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's see. Wow. And I know they've done it at least 3 or 4 because I'm thinking about
Steve, I went to Costco this week. I thought of you. I didn't take a picture this time.
Wait, did you just join us?
Yes, he did. Steve, you need to check out the Meijer.
11 times. The New Orleans hosted the Super Bowl. Oh, wow. 11 times.
Big money.
Tying it with Miami. Okay.
Nice.
Okay, 11 times. So, hey, how you doing, Steve?
Ah.
Oh, they were in the 7.
Okay, I believe it.
Okay,
I believe it.
My first game was like 82. I mean,
Oh, that's the year I was born.
yeah, I was about 9. Hang on. Okay, so I'm going to share a screen here. This is a document. So here we go. You're not going to see any ads popping up. You see it? This is from Center of Economics, Business, and Policy Research from Louisiana State University. Yep. This is the Super Bowl last year. Let me see it. Let me know. Economic impact of 2025 Super Bowl on the Louisiana economy.
Oh, the whole state. Yeah.
The whole state. Okay. Is executive.
Oh, the font is so tiny.
I'll get it. How about this? Better?
Zoom in. Okay, that's better.
We'll do one more. Is that best? Can you read it?
For the most part, yeah, I can read it.
Ah, shit. It took off on me. All right, here we go. There we go. This is what it was. Key findings. The total economic output, the 2025 Super Bowl is projected to generate 1.25 billion in total economic output, with 395 million in earnings for workers across various industries, creating approximately 9,787 new jobs.
Yeah.
Tax contributions, state and local taxes associated with the event totaled 82.7 million. This is one event.
See, I could feel those potholes being filled. I could feel it with numbers. Mm-hmm.
Visitors who attended the game spent an average of $5,553, generating a total expenditure of $351.6 million. Visitors who came to Louisiana for the Super Bowl but did not attend the game spent an average of $4,246, resulting in a total contribution of $148.6 million. Nice. Okay. Vendor spending. The host committee, media, and sponsors of the 2025 Super Bowl spent an additional $180.3 million. Total spending, combined visitor and vendor spending, total of $658.4 million. These results underscore the Super Bowl's significant economic footprint in Louisiana. While short-term boosts in spending and employment are evident, the event also enhances New Orleans' global visibility, contributing to its long-term tourism and business development prospects. Interesting, huh? Was everybody else able to read see what I just read? I'm reading it verbatim. Right. So this is a big to-do. I did the link. I shared the link. It's in the comments. You're welcome to look at it yourselves. That's a lot of money.
Yes.
One event, one Super Bowl.
So many jobs created too.
Could you imagine if they had a WrestleMania, which is a 2-night event?
Right on. Ah, okay. Thank you, Steve. The font was a good size. Thank you, Steve.
That's what she said.
Steve, you don't know what Meyer is? Geez, have you ever left the state of Ohio? Meyer is the equivalent.
It's a grocery store.
Nice. No, it is beyond a grocery store. It has everything you could think of that you may need for your home and more from the great state of Michigan, founded in Grand Rapids.
It's a rich man's drug mart.
No, it's like super Walmart, except clean, well-stocked, friendly, and no crackheads. It's amazing. Steve, it's on Richmond Road, right across from Little Dave's, which it'll probably put out of business.
There's one in Mentor, too.
Yeah, this one's a lot closer.
Yeah. Yeah, Richmond Road. Yeah, it's a lot closer.
Brand new. Mm-hmm,
yeah. Oh, it's a brand new? Okay.
Brand new. They just opened May 8th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you understand what I'm saying here by the impact, economic impact this can have.
That Meyer, too, in a microcosm. Same thing, you know? Okay.
Yeah, there's one in Mentor. I told you. I've been to those. Yeah, I've been to the one in Mentor. All right, let's just kind of take a step back here. All the people that are angry. First off, this stadium is not expected to open until August of 2029.
Mm-hmm.
That's still 4 years and 2 months away. First off, okay, so we got time. Second, this is an opportunity. This is time. It's an opportunity for a new era for the Cleveland Browns, just like there was a new era for the Cleveland Indians. I remember the same arguments. People did not want to leave that old stadium. People thought only rich people were going to go to the games. They were partially right. A lot of yuppies went. But keeping the Indians in Cleveland was monumental for this city. They've hosted all-star games, World Series, lots of events at Progressive Field. So, yes, there's going to be things that might not be the same when you go to a game.
Sure.
But I'm telling you guys, I'm a part of this. That stadium, it's not good. It's not good. It's not in the best shape. It's one of those things. As much as you might want, as much as you might be emotionally attached to it and the experience, sometimes it's time for new experiences and new things.
It's
and
like
you make it your own.
keeping a car that's a money pit, and it keeps breaking down. And of course, your parents got it for you and it's sentimental. Take pictures of it.
Yep. Take pictures.
Take pictures of it. Enjoy when you had it. Enjoy when it ran. Think of those stories. But you know what? It's time to move on. Get something that'll work for you and not make you miserable.
Sometimes, guys, and I'm not telling you're not wrong for feeling the way you feel.
Mm-hmm.
What you're wrong about is the facts. Okay, your feelings can validate what you feel. Your feelings are like, hey, I don't want this I don't want to be inside. I don't want all these hoity-toity shops everywhere. And seeing,
I don't want an Apple store. Yeah. What do I need an Apple store outside
I don't need
my
a Genius bar
stadium?
across the street from my football stadium.
It doesn't make any sense.
Don't need.
Well, maybe you need a new iPhone, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that as well, Drew. Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of memories that come with that. And there's a lot of memories with the Indians at that old stadium. The memories that I had was the team sucked. No, the Indians were terrible when it was there. And there's been several stories of what happened to that team and why they struggled in that stadium and on that field. Mm-hmm. Well, I've heard different versions of it. And and people want to complain about the owner, saying it's just, he's a rich guy. He just wants his plaything. He's trying to make money. That's what rich people do. They don't just spend their money on stupid adventures. Okay. And if you're a fan of the team, you want them to succeed. And if you're a fan of the team, you want to be in a position to succeed. Mm-hmm. There's one thing and one thing only that Haslam can do to change his public perception with Browns fans and to get people behind the stadium. Win games. Win games. Now, going back to that interview with Jeff, isn't it interesting how fans of a sports team can talk themselves into wins when they talk about their team? I did it. I can see 7 and 9 wins, but I didn't really want to go into it and back it up or say this or that.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers are facing the Jets the first week of the season in New York.
That'll be fun for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
You got to remember which team he plays for.
Yeah. He might forget and throw out the Jets players.
Exactly.
So, but you also have, we're playing the Bengals
right.
So you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, like I said, you really don't. I mean, I will say this. I want your thoughts and feedback on it. I mean, we're only 57 minutes in. I thought we were going to go a lot longer. We could talk a little bit about the Michigan thing if you want to, or anything that you have on your mind. Let me just ask you this: is it me, or does the vibe feel better this year for the team than it did last year?
It feels a lot more level-headed.
How so?
It feels a lot more level-headed because last season we were coming off the Super Bowl, or not the Super Bowl, but getting to the playoffs. Sorry, I'm watching the Stanley Cup right here. So this is one day the Browns will make it to the Super Bowl, and it's just one game, but this is many games, and it is very exciting and stressful at this time.
I'll be a wreck. Browns win the Super Bowl, I'd be a wreck.
Right. So I think because of what they did with Flacco, everybody's like, yeah, we're just going to be better. We're going to be better. And then Flacco, bye-bye. And then people are like, that's okay. We got all this, we're going to be great. And then that we saw what happened. We saw what the result was. This year, I think we're going in a
Mhm.
lot more level-headed.
Right.
And going in with reasonable expectations. There hasn't been the hype like there was last off season, especially by the local media, which I think is good. I think being level-headed is smart and keeping it that way. Go in with realistic expectations because
Yeah.
it's, again, it's musical quarterbacks. They're two baby quarterbacks. They're one of them's going to be developed probably more so better than the other. Who knows what's going to happen with that circumstance? And with the Flacco, 40-year-old Flacco, and
Thanks, Drew.
Kenny Pickett. So will we keep 4 quarterbacks? Is somebody going to the practice squad? Are we going to sell a quarterback?
I don't know. Well, a lot could
legal?
happen. We don't know.
Exactly.
We don't
And
know.
I think this season everyone is looking at the situation as a whole instead of just
Right.
hype and emotion. They're going in with thought.
Right. I think it's going to be if we would have had better kicker play and better running back play, we would have won 3 or 4 more games.
No doubt.
And that's why I see that 7
And
number.
Steve Lawrence, go ahead. That's fine. You do you, man. I would never tell anybody how to fan.
No, you do 10 and 7's fine. I'd love to see it. But no, let me just point it. Think about this, where if you have a good kicker, that puts you in position
That's
to win
huge.
games.
That is so huge.
But if you have a running back that can get you to win on first down, get you that 4 or 5 yards on first down, and that defense has to do a base coverage and a base package because they got to defend both the run and the pass on a second and mid. That's an advantage.
And I think our defense was so exhausted Our defense carried the team last year.
Yeah, they were put in horrible positions.
There was
horrible
no rest.
Positions.
They had like 0 rest. They were always winded. They were always on the field. I mean, give those men a break.
If Quinshaw Judkins can produce, meaning they give us that 4 or 5 yards on first down consistently, we win on first down. We do a lot more play action, low percentage passes, instead of just trying to do what they were doing last year with Deshaun Watson with a cooked shoulder. His shoulder was cooked.
Way cooked.
That's what happened. And I remember we didn't believe the reports that were coming out of the joint practices with the Vikings, but that was what was going on. And we didn't believe it.
It was kind of tiptoed around a little bit too. It was like, oh, maybe, I don't know, a little smoke screeny kind of stuff.
And we said, oh, it's just preseason. Then
he's just rusty. That's all.
And the season started against Dallas. We're like, okay, this is not good. Yeah, this is not good. Bad. Yeah, and then we had to get humbled real quick. Where I could see it now. Let's see how we hear from the joint practices with the Panthers and the Eagles.
Yeah, okay.
Eagles and Panthers, because we got our first preseason game. My understanding is in Carolina, in Charlotte, and second preseason game is in Philadelphia with the Eagles. And this training camp, I'm also seeing that there's a lot more not necessarily physicality in OTAs.
Steve, absolutely. Better offensive line play and coaching.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Yeah, better scheme. I think better scheming too, which I don't know if you want to use that term. It's a better offensive scheme and just better system. But I'm also noticing they're doing 11-on-11 drills in OTAs, which they weren't doing before. And they're not going to the Greenbrier. They're gonna be more physical.
I feel like that place is bad luck for the Browns. They need to stay far
the year before they went to the playoffs and won 11 games. But
you know what? There's something they need to stay away from that place.
And I think this Deshaun Watson drama bullshit's gone. Yeah, the Shador might bring some drama, but
I think it's tapered. It's, in the beginning it sounded like there was going to be, but
if he was the second overall pick, it'd be, oh my God.
Oh, it would be a circus. It would be a circus.
But since he's the 144th pick and, he was like, okay, he understands he's got to come in and get to work. And I don't see the rookie. I do see the rookies starting at some point in time this year, but I don't see them starting at the beginning of the year. And I think it's between who starts the first 6 to 8 games would be, but you got to see what you got in everybody. You got to have an answer at quarterback, what you know. And that's what I only think we're looking at wins and losses this year because we're like, fuck, we've been losing. Let's just get this shit right. I mean, it's just, yeah.
Do we have anybody else on the roster? Oh, wait, I think we do. We do have another kicker.
Yeah, I think we brought in somebody. Yeah, I can't remember. Not Blankenship, but I wanted Blankenship from the back.
No, that was okay.
Yeah, but I know I can't remember who it was. Steve, do your work.
Steve, who's the other kicker? Because
yeah,
do you think like whatever happened with Hopkins? Do you think like mentally is he coming back down to reality? Is he okay? Is he?
We'll find out.
It'll be good for us.
Well, I'm sure he's got to have to keep his job.
Right?
Fight to keep his job. Yeah. So I'm trying to think too. I remember I was given a lot of questions about stuff. Speaking of Michael J. Fox, somebody just sent this to me. Said they did own a DeLorean and they would drive it from time to time.
That is awesome.
Ooh, there you go. That's a dad joke right there. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Oh, no, I can't say this. It's a Pride Month joke. I can't do that. I'll get in trouble. No. People are talking about like you're a scientist, and there's in science that there's been homosexuality between animals. It's science. I've heard that, and somebody said yes. There's lesbian birds. They can tell they have short feathers on the top of their head and long feathers on the back.
Oh my God.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
There are many birds with mullets. There are many mulleted birds.
So let me see.
Oh, okay. I swear there was somebody else.
I said they're going to bring somebody in. Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway. Oh, boy. But Michigan is meeting with the rules committee today. They met today and they're meeting again tomorrow. And I guess it was a really long hearing. What this is, folks, this rarely gets to this point when the NCAA in football with violations. Normally, the school knows they're in trouble. They know they did wrong. They do self-inflicting damage on themselves, and then the NCAA gives them a punishment, and they usually take it before they get to this point. Michigan has been kind of denying it, as well as being non-cooperative. This is my understanding. I don't know if you've heard anything different, Sherry. No. Okay. So the people representing Michigan it was more like it's not necessarily a hearing. They had right to ask questions. They could ask questions and they could give counter arguments, but there wasn't any cross-examination or trial witnesses. It wasn't like it was a trial or anything, but they were just telling the rules committee. The NCAA just presented what they found to the rules committee in a sense, and Michigan's there to like say, okay, yeah, I have an explanation for that, or blah blah blah. They could do that. So it'll probably be anywhere after tomorrow, like 45 to as much as like 100 days before a decision comes down. What most people are saying, and this is something I heard, and there's a God, who's that guy that I watched? I watched a guy from Tennessee Volunteers, not Tennessee Titans, Tennessee Volunteers. I'm going to pull it up. So just to kind of give it to you, most people are thinking that they're going to probably vacate wins, have a 2-year postseason ban, and $15 million fine, and have 30 scholarships removed. 3-0. That they're talking about, that's the hammer. They're going to keep the national
scholarships, but why punish the kids for the sin of the father?
Not just saying that they're not be able to recruit players. Kids that are they're not going to take them away. But yeah, that's
messed up.
Well, they can transfer out too. I mean, but I'm just saying that. Let me see. Who is that?
They can go to one of those weird West Coast Big Ten schools. Because nothing says Big Ten like UCLA.
Sports Talk J on YouTube channel is a Tennessee guy. And this is the rumor. I want to say it was 2021 or 2022 that Connor Stallions was scouting signals and getting signals of Tennessee and Clemson outside of the Big Ten. And the signals were given to South Carolina, who was playing both of those teams. they went on to beat both Tennessee and Clemson, preventing them from getting into the college football playoff because that's who Michigan didn't want to play.
Gotcha.
That's what's being said here and alleged, that it goes outside the Big Ten of what he did. So let's see.
Oh, he said he named somebody, but then the kicker was waived today.
Yeah, he was waived. He was waived. So he might have missed some kicks. Sorry there. I clicked on the wrong one there, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for
Thank
the
you.
correct
Thank you.
research.
So the Tennessee's guy, this is coming from somebody that's not Ohio State, somebody that's not Michigan State, somebody that's SEC, Tennessee, that basically how this got started was the people from South Carolina said something that they got the signals from Michigan for this.
Wow.
Because South Carolina really wasn't that good of a team, and all of a sudden out of nowhere they scored 99 points.
Did you love them because of their mascot?
Oh, the game? Yes, sure. Sure. But that's where it came from. So I don't see Michigan losing their national championship. I don't see that happening. I do see punishment, though. I do see a punishment, because if it gets to this point, I wonder, they probably try to offer them a punishment and a deal saying, okay, we'll do this. And Fish is like, oh, we got to fight this. So I don't know what.
Appeal.
Yeah. Who knows how long it'll take.
Right.
So I did hear this rumor as well, and I don't know, but in 2020, there was a conference call with Big Ten coaches, and it was during the COVID, and I think something came up between Harbaugh and Ryan Day, and said something to him, and Ryan Day said, we're going to drop 100 points on you in Ann Arbor. And keep in mind, at that point, Harbaugh is yet to beat Ohio State. He was hanging by a thread, and they did not have a good team that year. If that would have happened, they would have all been fired.
Right.
So the rumor was that he backed out because of COVID, so he didn't get blown out. And then the next year they started doing the sign stealing, and then they got good. So that is what the rumor was. That's all I'm saying. So he did it to save his job. And then once he had his chance, because a lot of people from Michigan left after this. Though I think there's only two people, like two or three people left, one of them being the athletic director, the coach, and Connor Stallion. So you're going to, it's just the fact that I think what's going to make it worse for Michigan, and I'm just saying this not as an Ohio State fan, but as a journalist too, is that I think they're just because they didn't cooperate is going to make it worse on them. If they would have cooperated, probably would have done that. Oh, that's enough.
Well, I don't think he'd go backwards. I think he'd probably just retire at this point. I don't think he'd go back.
He'll get his gig in the NFL. Yeah.
He's not going to go backwards.
Yeah.
At this point in the game, he's not going to pull a Belichick.
No, he's not going to. That's another one. I guess he married that chick.
Allegedly, I think they were engaged. Allegedly, every now and I don't know. It's just all the red flags come out with that one. She's doing like elder abuse, like isolation. I want to be CC'd on all your work emails. I want to help make decisions and shit. I'm like, do you think he has like dementia? Do you think there's dementia involved? I mean, he's, getting to that age where that happens with.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
Because he was with that one lady for so long, and then he like.
Guys, I don't care how good she looks. Someone somewhere is sick of her shit.
Exactly. We're not talking about that. How do you mean? We're not talking about that. I'm like, whoa. You're telling national TV and national major network you're gonna.
We're not talking about that. And he just kind of just sat there and just smiled, and I'm like
smirked. I'm like, dude, she's carrying your cojones around in a pocketbook.
And I just said
sad. To me, that's really sad.
If I was doing the interview, I would have just looked at him and went, "Is it really that good?" I mean.
I doubt it because he's old.
I don't
So
know.
anything would be better than nothing.
He'll do an ad for Hims. So
Oh, so they are engaged.
they are engaged. Well, I heard they were married too, but
I heard engaged.
Gee, you think she's only in it
look-
for the money? You think,
no way. I would have never
Dude.
guessed.
no,
Ay, ay,
no.
ay.
She's like an energy vampire succubus. Just
Succubus. Good.
Good.
Mythical bad
Yes.
guy. Way to go. I mean,
Oh,
bad
yeah.
gal.
bad
Mhm.
gal. Yeah,
Bad
yeah. Look it
gals,
up,
yeah.
guys. Look up what a succubus is. Incubus is a male demon. A succubus
Mhm.
is a female demon. So
Yep.
Incubus was the name of a band too.
Yes.
So okay, so really, that's about going to wrap this up. We're gonna anything you want to talk about, Sherry, before we go.
I can give you
floor
a
is yours.
hockey update.
Give
The
me a hockey
Panthers-
update.
The Panthers in
We're
the
winning.
Stanley Cup Finals are up by 1 goal, just completed by number 63, Brad Marchand. And we are in the second intermission. And have you seen Wayne Gretzky recently? He's on TNT as we speak. He's doing the intermission report with everybody. And his face, that's right. Thank you, John. Let's go Panthers. His face looks a little
I was
funny.
going to say this to John.
Gretz looks a little funny.
John, I'm going to be honest with you, man. You make a really ugly baby.
Oh no. Oh no. You think so too, John? Do you see that? Doesn't he look funny? That's good. Matt said the same thing. He's like, "Oh, we got some weird work done," because he has those. He
Yeah.
has post hockey player teeth.
A
And
Top
if
Dog
you-
tailgate event. Not too many people showed up, Steve. Just so you know.
We
We were
missed
there.
you.
We were there. There was
missed you,
people there. Yeah, we
basically.
missed you guys. We missed you guys. We missed a lot of
Mhm,
people.
Yes, thank you,
yep,
John.
he
I mean,
agrees.
he has the post hockey
Plastic
player teeth
surgery.
that don't really fit in his mouth, and his forehead is 100% completely dead. And then this region looks like it wasn't put together right.
I'd rather grow old. I'd rather be old naturally than just try to tear up my face and spend money on that
I
shit.
don't know. Yeah. John is the best looking baby. Sure.
I'm the best. I was fucking with you, man. Just kidding. Just so you know.
Because everybody else on the broadcast are former hockey players.
Right.
They look great. They look normal. They're aging gracefully. And then
I have a dear friend that had gray hair, or has gray hair, but he
Mhm.
dyes his hair. It looks awful. It looks terrible. And I tell him, I was like, brother, come on. Just
I
he goes,
think,
it bothers him. The gray hair bothers him that
I
much.
don't
I'm like,
understand why
shave your
it bothers so many people. And
It doesn't bother me.
I don't think it looks bad.
No.
Honestly, on men, on women. Women are really bad. Forget it.
Gray hair. Oh,
Mhm.
women are more vain than men. Trust me.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hold on. The owner of the Raiders, Mark Davis, said 25-year-old girlfriend didn't know he was a billionaire and was attracted to his beautiful smile. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. That guy, too. That guy is
Yeah. Yeah.
His
She
face
loved his haircut too, by the way.
the haircut and the.
Yes. Yeah. I want the Mo Howard. Thank you.
Show me
Yeah.
what you got on the Three Stooges chart. Like, which haircut do you want?
Yeah. Benjamin Button. There you go. Yeah. Larry Fine. Yeah. Give me the Larry Fine. There you Okay, people, you getting my Three Stooges references, people? Are you?
I am. I love the Stooges.
Okay.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, give me the Shemp, please.
The Shemp.
Anyway, folks. Yeah, so we're going to talk more. We're going to be back next week. We're going to talk more. There's always stuff that's going to be breaking. I think the most interesting thing is that I think what I see coming forward, like this year, the vibe, I think it's going to be different. I think we're going to see more physicality in training camp. I think the team's going to be more ready to play. You're going to see more players playing in the preseason. Because we got, first off, these rookies, we got to see what they look like.
For
and they
sure.
need to get reps with starters.
Big time.
Before I forget, oh yes, please, I didn't want to forget this. Stirring the Pot on Monday, I will be on with John, and we're going to talk about how beautiful of a baby he is. He's gonna.
Tune in.
I guarantee you, he's gonna have my baby, and I'll just be like a goatee
Oh
with
my
gray
god.
hair.
That, that is nightmare fuel. The babies with the facial hair.
Babies with facial hair. But I was gonna mention this. DeJuan Jones.
He looked good.
He looks
He
great.
looks fit. He looks
looks
fit.
great. He
looks
drops
healthy. He
some
looks
weight.
happy.
He dropped
looks
some
great.
weight. He looks great. He looks like he's in shape. He's at OTAs. He's participating. He's
I was
starting at
happy to
left
see him.
tackle.
So
Very
happy.
happy to see that. Thank you, God. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
He's laughing. Yeah. So, what's this?
Yeah,
LT,
left tackle.
Left tackle. Yeah.
That's
Juwan Jones,
exciting.
he showed
That's
up.
Perfect.
He showed up. He trimmed down. He looks
I'm
like he's
here
in
for
shape.
it.
I
I want him 100% left tackle.
Yeah. So it looks like everybody's healthier coming back. Other people are missing from OTAs as well. Not only was Myles Garrett, Joel Bitonio was. I think who else?
He was at the golf. He was at the golf outing. He did a whole interview about that the Browns put in a simulator in the practice facility. So he's like, "Well, I got to stay on now. I can practice my golf swing." It was a cute little interview he did for the team.
Well,
you know,
he wants to stay.
clip.
He wants to keep playing. He wants to stay, and I don't blame him. I think I'm hearing another rumor about potentially Wyatt Teller being traded to Kansas City, but that would be a $19 million cap hit, so I don't see that happening. It's interesting. I did reach out to Jack Duffin, and he's not available anytime soon. He's got things going on, but keep track him. He knows the salary cap, and according to Over the Cap, right now we're $19 million under the salary cap, and we have all draft picks signed except for one. I think I don't know which one we did. We signed 6 of them. So there's not going to be a problem to get the last draft pick signed by when rookies report. I think it's I want to say it's the 3rd week in July. So we got a long ways to go, people. And it's going to be a long season, and this is going to be a season, I think, of growth and of just kind of getting to know what kind of team we're going to have.
And it seems like they're more level-headed out there too. Like they seem cool. All the little interviews they do, they're not like overhyping themselves. I think it's been a lot more of a mindful circumstance in that building, and I'm for it.
Get back to work, one game at a time, one play at a time, one practice at a time, one rep at a time. Just get back to work. That's all you can do. And that's all we're going to do is we're going to be back here next week, getting back to work. And John, thank you for commenting. Abe Foreman, thank you for commenting. Everybody, announcer guy, Drew, Steve. God, I love Steve.
Popped in for a second.
Yeah, he popped in. He popped in to let his voice be heard.
You and Posh.
Posh came in, and everybody else. Who else? Candy Corn.
Can't forget Candy Corn guy.
Yeah, can't forget Candy Corn.
You will find us. MC, always MC.
MC.
Old friend from long ago.
MC.
We go way back.
Young MC Hammer. Just kidding.
You talk about 50 Cent Indians tickets. When I was still doing my undergrad in Boca Raton, I would go to Panthers game and walk up and get tickets for $7.
$7?
$7. NHL hockey for $7. It was incredible.
$7 for NHL hockey. That's insane.
Oh, yeah. It was great.
Oh, yeah. Like Kool-Aid. One last one. This weekend, just before the show, I did a Google research. I Googled the word literally.
Oh, because your daughter.
No, because now I literally know what literally means.
Oh,
so
okay.
There you go. And on that note, thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week, next Friday at 9:00. We'll have a lot to talk about. Hope I helped you. I hope I informed you on the stadium.
Yes.
Economic impact.
Friend.
Panther friend.
Panther friend.
Panther friend. Go Panthers. Thank you. Thank each and every one of you. Go Browns. I think, yes, Joe Flacco, week 6 versus Aaron Rodgers.
Yes. The Metamucil Bowl. Here we come.
The Geritol Bowl.
Take your fiber, gentlemen.
Yes. Be like grumpy old men. We'll watch that.
It'll be great.
Be Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. Need Ann Margaret to show up. All right. Hey, don't ever forget, when the river burns, it burns brown and orange. You guys have a great night. Thank you.